77 teams to go on my road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. And we're moving on now to the California Golden Bears, excuse me. No, we're moving on to the Cal Bears. So Cal, a team that just hasn't been able to get over the hump yet under Wilcox, the head coach that they have now. Just haven't been able to get over the hump. And there's a lot of questions about how much longer is his future at this program. You know, things like that. Can this Cal team really get it moving? There are some interesting pieces coming in and coming from California this year. So, can this California team finally get over the hump and get back into a bowl game in 2022? Or could this possibly be Wilcox's last year manning this football team? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason. Guys, that means I'm doing your favorite teams. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, so you know when that video gets uploaded. And for fans of Cal, you guys will know this team a lot better than me. So if you feel like I missed something, you want to add something, leave it in the comment section below, and I will read what you guys have to say. So let's talk about Cal in 2022. This is my 10th ranked team coming in to the Pac-12 for the 2022 season. Last year, again, Cal very close to getting over the hump. They were 5-7, 4-5 in conference, and the stats looked a little something like this. Offensively, around 385 yards per game with about 24 points per game. And then defensively, Cal statistically had one of the better defenses in the conference, 366 yards per game with around 22 points per game. So the offense definitely needs a lot of work, definitely needs to get some more pieces moving. But the defense was pretty solid last year in the defense. It was definitely a strength of this Cal team a season ago. However, they're losing a lot of talent on the defensive end. But of course, we start with the talent that has gone off the offensive end. And starting off with the quarterback position, Chase Garbers is gone. I believe got signed by a team in the NFL. Can't remember which team that is, but he had 2,531 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And for good measure, he tacked on 456 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns as well. So definitely losing a pretty solid quarterback in Chase Garbers. Running back Christopher Brooks, who was the leading rusher last year with 607 yards and 4 touchdowns. He is also gone. And then your leading wide receiver, Trayvon Clark, 658 yards and 4 touchdowns. So you lose your starting quarterback, your starting running back, and your best wide receiver off of an offense that already wasn't particularly great, especially scoring the football from a season ago. Definitely going to have to find some guys to get to fill those holes. But you also lose guys like Jake Tonjes at tight end, also Nico Remigio, and Kakoa Crawford at the wide receiver and tight end position, respectively, there as well. On the defensive side of things, again, the defense was pretty solid a year ago. They're losing a lot of talent. J.H. Tevis is gone, 36 tackles with 1 sack a season ago. Luke Biquette, I believe, got signed by a CFL team. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe he got signed by a team in the CFL, had 3.5 sacks a season ago. Cameron Good had 7 sacks a season ago, and that led the team from the linebacking position. Also had 45 tackles. Elijah Hicks, a defensive back, a safety more specifically, 72 tackles, 1 sack, 3 interceptions a season ago. You also lose some other guys like Josh Drayden. Kwani Dang was a guy that did not have the best stat line last year, like only 4 tackles, but I know injuries and everything were a problem of his too. Bimmage also gone. Tattersall also gone. There's a lot of players that are leaving this California Golden Bears team, and a lot of talent leading this team, a lot of talent they're going to have to replace in order to try to get over that hump and back into bowl season. Filling in that quarterback position shouldn't be a problem. They're getting Jack Plummer over from Purdue. So Jack Plummer kind of fell behind. Or I shouldn't say kind of, did absolutely fall behind Aiden O'Connell during Purdue's past couple of seasons. So Aiden O'Connell took over Purdue. Plummer said, I'm out of here. And Plummer transferred over to California, where I think he can be pretty solid for this team. I've always liked Jack Plummer. I don't think Jack Plummer is that bad of a quarterback. I know some people have some pretty varying opinions on how Jack Plummer's play is, but I think he's pretty solid. And the other quarterbacks in this room are fairly young. Jack Plummer, Going to bring some experience to start. Damian Moore should probably be that starting running back for California. Last year for the Golden Bears, he had 517 yards and 6 touchdowns. So actually led all position players besides quarterbacks, of course, on offense with the most touchdowns with 6 of them. So there you go. A couple wide receivers, Jeremiah Hunter. Mason Starling is a transfer coming in. Could provide a nice lift there. But the wide receiver room definitely needs a lot of work. Jeremiah Hunter, though, had 388 yards and a touchdown there. But you do have to replace some of your bigger guys. Some of the bigger threat guys from last season, I should say. Defensive line, you have Xavier Carlton, Ethan Saunders coming in for this team. Ethan Saunders had 3.5 sacks last year. And Xavier Carlton is a transfer coming in as well that should play behind Ethan Saunders at the defensive end position. If not, might get the start on the other side of the field. When you look at linebackers, Jackson Sermon, I believe he's a transfer coming in. Yep, transfer coming in. You also have Iosefa Oladejo, among some other names that you could name there as well. And then in the defensive back group, Daniel Scott is on some watch list for an award. I can't remember what the award is. I'm sure Cal fans can let me know, but he's on a watch list. Could be one of the better defensive backs in the Pac-12, possibly in the nation if he has a good season. But Daniel Scott was the lead tackler, had 3 interceptions last year. That was tied for the team lead. 82 tackles, of course, that led the team. You have other guys like Colin Gamble and Hearns coming back there as well. So this is still a fairly decently talented Cal team. And I think the talent is there on the defensive end. But I have questions about the offense. Is Moore I think Damian Moore in the rushing attack is going to be relatively fine. But how does Jack Plummer play? How do guys like Hunter and transfers like Stalling and some other names there step up in the passing attack? I think that's going to be key to watch for the Bears this year. So let's take a look at their schedule. Now, those of you that that only pay attention to the Power 5 may not have seen this last year or may even have forgotten about it. But UC Davis is on Cal's schedule. They pulled off the upset against Tulsa last year. Now, I know Tulsa wasn't that great last year, and it was a 2-point win. But UC Davis, an FCS program, and not a very recognizable one at that, pulled off a big upset last year. And so Cal's got to watch out because I think UC Davis is going to be able to do it again this year. However, that being said, I think Cal's going to be long favorites in that one. And then other non-conference games against UNLV on the road at Notre Dame, a really tricky one there. You get in the conference play at home. You got home games against, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, Stanford, and UCLA, and you got to go on the road to play Washington State, Colorado, USC, and Oregon State. So let's kind of jump in the schedule. Again, a reminder of what UC Davis did last year. They beat Tulsa. It was a very clunky game. It was 19-17, but a win is a win is a win. So they could possibly pull off another upset here, but I think it'd be an even bigger upset if UC Davis were to beat Cal, a Power 5 team. And then you look at UNLV there as well. Not a great program, but I think UNLV is going to be capable of playing their good, fair share of football games in 2022. Notre Dame is here, of course, as well, going on the road to play Notre Dame. It's just going to be a tough little game for the California Golden Bears. It's going to be very tough, very hard to kind of gauge Notre Dame right now. They have a lot of questions. How is Buckner or someone else going to fit in at quarterback? You have Michael Meyer, the tight end, but what does your other wide receivers look like? Running back, they have a speedster and Chris Tyree. There's a whole lot of things there with Notre Dame that need to kind of get figured out, especially with the Marcus Freeman era starting. And then when you look in conference play for Cal, you got a lot of tough games. You avoid playing Utah, which is good, but you still got to play Oregon, USC, UCLA, Washington State on the road, Oregon State on the road, even maybe a game like Colorado on the road. Now, you get Arizona, Stanford, Washington at home, but there are a lot of tricky games here on the schedule for the California Golden Bears, make no mistake about it. I do not do game-by-game predictions. I do a more percentage-based. Alex help me predict the team's record. So if the game is in red, I just don't see you winning the game. If the game's in orange, still probably don't see you winning the game, but it is college football and an upset can happen. Yellow are your 50-50 or high upset potential games. Yellow-green are games that you should win, but you got to watch out for teams on the other side of the ball, and games in green are games that you should probably win. So again, UC Davis, UNLV, I have both of them in green. Cal should be able to start off the season 2-0. And it's very crucial that Cal starts out the season 2-0, possibly even 3-1 if they can get that win against Arizona. I don't think Cal's going to beat Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is way too talented. And yes, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the Irish right now. But I think by week 3, Notre Dame would have been tested. Notre Dame would have played Ohio State up to this point. And one other team there as well. But mainly, again, the Ohio State Buckeyes, that first test in week 1. Notre Dame's going to be tested. I think they'll be ready to play and probably will end up beating Cal. But again, upsets can happen. It's college football. Some of the road games here and some of the colors might surprise you, but I do have that Washington State and Oregon State games. They're both in orange. Watch out for both of those teams this year, and not just if you're a California fan, but if you are a fan of Pac-12 football, period. Oregon State and Washington State, I'm fairly high on both of those schools, and I think both of them can be pretty solid teams here in 2022. But also when you look again, there are just some hard games on the schedule for Cal. On the road to Notre Dame is one of them. You got to go on the road to play USC. That's going to be a revamped team with Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, a very good depth at the wide receiver and running back position. The only kind of question about USC coming in next year is that defense. So we'll see how that works. But they do have Alex Grinch, fairly experienced defensive coordinator coming in to try to turn things around. UCLA at the end of the year, that figures to be a pretty good football team there with the Bruins. But California can get some wins in Pac-12 play. Again, there are winnable games. At home against Stanford, there's a winnable game right there. At home against Washington, same thing. And same thing with on the road at Colorado and at home against Arizona. There are winnable games here, but it's a very, very tough schedule. And I don't know. I think the talent is there defensively to maybe hold out some wins, right? To hold out some wins for this Cal team. But I still don't see this Cal team getting over the hump. I do have them back at 5-7 where they were just a year ago. And with Justin Wilcox, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what Cal does with him. If they fire him mid-season or if maybe they look at that 5-7 record at the end of the season, if that's what it comes out to be. Maybe they miss out on a bowl game. Maybe they do worse. I have the floor for this team at 3-9 because I think they do win those first 2 games. And I think at the very least, they win at least one in Pac-12 play among those 2 games at the beginning of the year too. Starting off 2-0 is going to be crucial for Cal, and I think they absolutely can do it, and I think they will do it. But then finding 4 more wins on the rest of the schedule, it's pretty tough, especially for how much unknown is there on the offensive end, and mainly on the pass game. I think Damian Moore is going to be a solid running back for them. How does the pass game fare out? That's my big question for Cal in 2022. But overall, I do have Cal, again, just slightly missing a bowl game at 5-7. Justin Wilcox, will he be coaching in 2023? I think that's the big question. But that's going to do it for my video on the California Golden Bears. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and anything you can to help support the channel. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.